You're listening to Hotep Ish with your host, Dewan B. Intelligent Ish Talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Now tuned in to that Hotep Ish, bring you food for thought. No miss the first dish from the number one host, the one. Got enough games and jokes that can last about a couple more eons. Vibes on the million, you heard right. Debunking niggas' opinions on music, that shit light. Work being done without breaking a sweat. This that intelligent ish, you need not forget. The one don't debate with hoe niggas. They use I feel as receipts to show niggas. Fat stand tall on opinions. Jokes to emotional haters and their minions. Need to burn one popcorn, get a drink. Did you?
What up, y'all? What up, y'all? What up, y'all? I didn't know it was gonna cut the music like that. The music's supposed to still be playing. Oh, there it is. Oh, my bad. I had it on mute. Shouts out to Rashad Gibbons for hooking me up with that. Whatever. Shit happens. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Let me get some of my talking music on. Yeah, not like having a flow.
1981.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it here. Yeah. Thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all. We are here. I'm gonna talk for a little bit, then I'm gonna have you guys call in at some point. I'm gonna have y'all call in at some point. I'm asking the critical questions. Can single people give quality relationship advice? And I'm gonna start off by saying I know the truth is somewhere in the middle. I'm not gonna go either extreme. I'm gonna start off by saying I know the truth is somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna start off by giving you my opinion. Then I'm going to explain my point of view thoroughly. So for the people who can listen clearly, you'll get a thorough explanation. For you people who are just conjuring up thoughts to reply without listening, I'm sure you'll say something stupid in return. We'll know once we hear your voice or see your comment after the video. But can single people give quality relationship advice? I'm gonna start off by saying yes and no. And then I'm gonna get into talking about y'all. I mean not talking about y'all, listening to y'all and hearing what y'all gotta say. I'm gonna hear what y'all gotta say. What up, everybody in the chat room? Welcome. Welcome. So we're gonna talk about this, and then I want to hear from y'all. Can single people give quality relationship advice? I'm gonna start off on the yes side. Yes, they can. When someone is single, if they're giving you advice from the point of view of where they went wrong, meaning taking personal responsibility of what went wrong and talking about what they could have done better to either one, identify those problems early on in the relationship and not go that far into it, or when they discovered whatever thing that was irreconcilable, what they could have done to make it better or to prevent that or get around that. Or if getting around that just was impossible, because sometimes you learn in a breakup exactly what you don't want or don't need in the person. You know what I mean? Some of my biggest things that I learned in my single years was who I didn't want to be with. So if a person is coming from the point of view, and I mean genuinely, because some people be like, yeah, I messed up because I should have known better than to be with a cheater who did me wrong and cussed me out and called my mama a horse's ass. And okay, we've all heard that. People be like, well, I messed up, but. And then the but is 19 things the other person fucked up before you even start, if you even start getting on yourself. I don't mean that, people. I don't mean that. I mean where truly you could have gone and fixed things. For instance, a single person who was in a relationship that lasted or didn't last that long, and they may have been one of those relationships that was a few years long, and they see that they were too they were trying to get someone to be something that they weren't. That's a major issue in relationships. People oftentimes try to turn people into something that they're not. And then that person be like, you know what? I thought that I could have worked on someone else instead of working on me to either accept or reject who that person is. If they come to you from that point of view, then you might want to listen to what they have to say. I'm going to start off by saying that. That's a good point, Premise. If you suck in relationships, you can at least start off by telling people what doesn't work. Yeah. Because life is positive and negative. You can learn as much. Oftentimes you learn more. You can learn more from a negative than you can a positive. Meaning when some shit go wrong, oftentimes that lesson, if you're open to learning that lesson, can do more for you than a relationship that was great and just ended suddenly. You can learn more from that traumatic breakup, that bad incident, and oftentimes the more traumatic, the more you can learn from it. Because most traumatic ends to relationships are built on a foundation of a long line of mistrust, a long line of microaggressions, a long line of little things that got built up. Generally, that's what leads to a tragic breakup. I didn't see this coming. Well, did you listen? Did you listen, first of all, to what they were saying? Second of all, were you listening to yourself? Because oftentimes people will feel things, see things, notice things, and feel it internally and ignore it. You know what I mean? These are all things that you can listen to from someone who's single and is really on the journey of knowing themselves. Because one thing about relationships are a mirror. Let me tell you something about relationships. Whatever you have going on inside of you will reflect onto the person that you with. That's a guarantee. Whatever's going on inside of you will reflect in that relationship. That's what attraction is. When they say law of attraction, I mean you attract the good traits about yourself and you attract the bad traits. And if you're open-minded, you'll use each other as a mirror to look inside yourself and help yourself grow. These are all things that can happen when in a relationship, or if there was a recent breakup, things that you can learn from that breakup. Everything you can learn from a breakup starts with yourself. It's always back on you. Even the major issue you had with someone else, you got to ask yourself, what in you attracted you to that? And oftentimes, these are very, very, very hard questions to answer. When I say hard, I don't mean hard to find. You can find them. I mean, they're emotionally hard. When you see these things, when you look in the mirror and see these things about you, the pain can be extremely deep. And people know that pain can be deep. That's why they don't face it. That's why people make the pain about the other person. People make, you're right, Quan, the relationship gurus are like a new hustle these days. And I'm like, yo. Because that leads into my larger point for this morning's, depending on where you are in the country. I got people listening on Twitter from Hawaii. Salute to you. Got some people listening in on Twitch. Salute to you. Salute to everybody on YouTube. Got people from all around the world in this motherfucker. Thank y'all for joining. Because I'm here to help. These are key things you need to listen for. Listening is a skill. And it's a skill that I will be teaching a lot more in depth on my Patreon. I'm starting my masterclass in March. You can either get them one by one, or you can join the Patreon for a discount and get them all. Past, present, and future webinars, where I go really deep with paperwork and notes and all kind of shit that's gonna help you dive hella deep into your issues and what's going on. But listening is a major part of a relationship. Not only listening and taking the information being brought to you by the person that you care about and doing something with it. Listening and doing something with it. What I hear oftentimes when I'm listening to these relationship experts online, I hear a lot of you, and very little me. Let me tell you something, people. You born alone, you gonna die alone. And in the middle of that journey, in that dash between the day you're born and the day you die, is a lifelong self-lesson, self-improvement, self-growth. And the more you work on that, the more you care about pleasing yourself and growing yourself, you'll attract people on that vibration. You'll attract people on whatever vibration you're on. What I see from a lot of these relationship experts online, men and women, let me tell you the first issue that I see. Too goddamn superficial. Too superficial. What do I mean by superficial? Everything is a look. Everything is a look. What do I mean by everything's a look? People want to make the relationship about a person's looks primarily. And I'm not saying you need to go and get with some booger wolf. You better be attracted to whoever you with. But attraction is personal. Let me say that again. Attraction is personal. What do you like? Some niggas like them thicker than a Snicker. Some niggas like them skinny minis with itty bitty titties. Some dudes like long straight hair. Other dudes like natural little froze. Some dudes don't mind. Some people like them dark skinned. Some people like them light skinned. It's a whole range in what the fuck you like. A lot of times people make the relationship about the standard of beauty that America says is a standard of beauty. They gotta be under a certain weight limit. They gotta have hair that's a certain length. And then, my thing is this, if that's your thing, fellas, if that's your thing, then that's your thing. Cool, that be your thing. But let me tell the truth, brothers. This is tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's probably your thing for maybe 20, 30% of the dudes out there. Most niggas have varying degrees of what they like. A lot of you niggas like the plush and plumps, but you scared. Let's tell the truth. You scared to say it. You like chicks that's built like a stack of cinnamon rolls. That's your personal thing, fella. But you scared to take your Nabisco stack of cinnamon rolls out in public because you scared of what some other niggas are gonna think. If what you're attracted to, if you're more afraid of what other people think than what you truly like, then you already lost. If you, let me say that again. If you care more about what another man thinketh, then you've losteth. DeJuan Brown 316. Somebody look at this cliche someone wrote. Broke men like fat women. You've never seen a fat woman get out of an Audi A8. Shit. An Audi A8 is a big body car, fool. They most likely to be getting out of an Audi A8 than a Lamborghini. Which goes in to the other point I was making about surface level. Things, items, the false equating of what kind of car you drive and how much money you make. Oftentimes the people with the dopest cars are the brokest. Because yeah, they be making the money, but they spending it all on shit to impress a whole bunch of people they don't like. Another major problem of the superficial person. Thinking the car that they drive, the clothes that they wear matter. Thinking that shit matters. It don't. You know how many niggas that drive BMW M6s get cheated on by the security guard at work? Husband bringing in all his bread, wife smashing the nigga that's in charge, that's securing the mail room. Thinking just because you provide a certain type of lifestyle that actually matters. See, when you caught up in the superficial, when you attract someone based off of superficial things, I'm not saying that type of relationship can't work. It definitely can. It can work as long as the two stay superficial. And as long as he keeps providing the level of money it takes to live that superficial lifestyle, and as long as she keeps her surgeries right, tight, nipped and tucked, and all the things that she needs to maintain her superficial attraction to him, or his superficial attraction to her. A superficial relationship can work if both people remain superficial. But oftentimes what happens is one of the two at some point starts to grow more out of the superficial and more so back into themselves. And when that happens, that's when that mental, spiritual connection is gone. One person decides to mature, the other doesn't. If you're on that superficial shit, you're on a very shaky foundation. Why is it a shaky foundation? The foundation is shaky because it's not built on anything real. Superficial stuff is illusionary. It's an illusion. How many people do you know be on Instagram? They take the dopest Instagram pictures. They both look good. Nigga, they both got the cars. They both dress well. And then you see 2 years later or a short amount of time later, they not with that motherfucker. Or if it's a friend of yours, see, sometimes like they all got that one friend that they confide in, one or two. Y'all all got homies out there, people that you know, that the shit look dope on Instagram, but when you talk to the people behind closed doors, they don't really fuck with their relationship like that. They really don't fuck with their girl. She really don't really fuck with him. They both live in a lie. They both have all kind of illusions, games being played. They're miserable, but it look good though. I can't tell you how I know, like in my years doing what I do, counseling. You have all these people in these superficial relationships, but the man scared to go home. And when I say scared, I don't mean like scared physically. Like he just don't want to deal with the shit. Nigga stand out all night with his friends at the bar, at the club, with a chick he don't even care about like that, cheating, because the one he do really care about don't really fuck with him like that. These are all concerns that I raise when it comes to people out there listening to single people giving relationship advice, because it's surface level oftentimes. It's caught up in image, and it's not grounded in anything substance. What is substance? Substance is you, my man. Ladies, gentlemen, you the substance. Are you rooted in yourself? Because if you're rooted in yourself, you'll find that. You hear a lot of these people talking about a relationship, and when they're talking about relationships, they're talking about finances. And don't get me wrong, finances are very, 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 very important in a relationship. What level of finances? It comes down to the level of things you desire. Fellas, you get with a woman and you making it about your money. I'll make this money, and you want to take her to Eddie V's on a first date, or Ruth Chris, or one of these $300 when the bill is due type restaurants. You want to start the dating process on that level, buying a whole bunch of shit, putting your money out there. Cool. Make sure you're able to maintain that. 1, 2, ask yourself, if you're using those things to attract a woman, what is she attracted to? Is she attracted to you, or those bells and whistles you flashing in front of her face? Because when you come at a woman like that, and she bites, and she's with it, you cannot now cry, bitch, and moan that women only want you for your money. You're going to end where you start. Wherever you start when you dating somebody, that's where you're going to end. If you start with the flashing cash and running game, then that's what you need to expect throughout the duration of the relationship. You can't start flashing cash and then bitch and moan that she only wants you for your flashing cash. Nigga, that's what you showed her. Yeah, I say it ain't tricking if you got it. Well, okay, make sure you cannot say, because this is what niggas will do. They'll say on one hand it ain't tricking if you ain't got it, if you got it, and then on the other hand they'll be singing Chris Brown, these hoes ain't loyal. Well, when you make the relationship about tricking, guess what? It's always another trick with more money than you. I don't care if you're a millionaire. I used to see this stuff. Let me give y'all a quick example. I've known a few NBA players over my life, but there's this one in particular. In this particular talk, I'm not gonna mention any names or any teams, but I remember brother had good money. You know, he got paid a decent NBA salary. But I remember there was another player on his team. That player was in the NBA top 75. He's a certain surefire Hall of Famer. That dude made way more money than this dude. Now, when it comes down to it, this particular NBA player made more money than me or you. They made more money than 97% of the people out there. Yes, for sure. But in the NBA locker room, this is how wide the money disparity is. One player could be getting paid $2 or $3 million a season, and they'll have to share a locker room with someone else getting paid $32 million a season. Just think about that for a moment. And however much money a man makes, he's generally in an environment with other men on that same economic level. People pulling in $3 or $4 million a year don't hang out with minimum wage niggas. That's just what it is. They may have a cousin or a friend from back in the day that they kick it with every now and again, shoot the breeze. But the people that they're around the most are people at or near their economic level. So, what do you think happened with the player that was getting paid $4 or $5 million a year when the other player on the same team who made $32 million a year tried to get at his girl? Hey, you only got her based on your money. So what happens when someone else with more money comes along? These are things you got to think about when you think that you just big bossing it like that. When you hear some of these relationship experts talking about, ooh, Big Shirley can't fit in this Lamborghini. Okay. Well, that skinny dame that you got that can fit in the Lamborghini will gladly fit in another nigga's Bugatti. If you gonna make it about that. Because there's always more money out there, fellas. And what I find from a lot of these online relationship experts is they ask people, these single online relationship guys, they make the relationship about materials, about looks, about all of these external things that look good on paper, but they don't function well in practice. They look good on paper, but they do not function well in practice. And what I see is a lot of confusion out there. I've been seeing, especially over the last couple years, men just be hella fellas. When did the men start getting so bitter with women? Is this the result of just maybe the first generation of really single mamas? Like that first generation of boys raised by single mamas are now coming up into their 40s and 50s and 30s. Them first couple generations of single mother raised boys, they're now in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And they're just more vocal now. Is it that? Is it fellas done went through some bad, relationships and they just bitter and angry? What is it? Fetty TV says from 3 generations of it. Ah, that's I didn't think of it that way, brother. See, that's why I like my listeners. Y'all be saying some smart shit. It's from 3 generations of it, man. Okay. Okay. I wasn't ready for that one, but okay. Because luckily for me, I was raised by my father. My dad's birthday being a couple days. My mom's birthday was last week. I love my parents, man. I was just with them last night. Kicking it. My parents are married. See, that's why I gotta ask these questions, because my parents are married. My wife's parents are married. My grandparents were married on both sides. My great-grandparents were married. 3 out of 4 were married. One of them got a divorce in late 50s. But yeah, my sister's married. I'm married. So let me just give y'all my bias. My bias. I come from a very stable environment with stable relationships. So that's my point of view on these things. And I felt that was very important to give a point of view from an unbroken male's perspective. A lot of these cats are broken. And I'm not saying that to judge them. But when you've been raised in an environment where mommy and daddy played games with each other and the child was the victim, and that's your perspective on relationship, you're dealing with a broken perspective. If your perspective is no one in your environment can win when it comes to relationships, you have a broken point of view. And it's not to say that it can't be healed and be fixed. Yes, it most certainly can be healed and fixed. Yes, it can. But it can only be healed and fixed when you start with the truth. That perspective is broken. And not only do we come from a lot of broken environments, we've been given broken advice by a broken education and entertainment system. TV, really since the 90s on, really, and it got in the hyperdrive in the 2000s, everything is single. Everything is either single or LGBTQ. The music ain't about substance and love. It's about fucking and tricking. So we live in an overall, when it comes to relationship, our whole society is broken. And I see a lot of that broken advice, although it sounds good on the surface level, it's not substantive, it's not functional. When you get relationship advice, you want something that's going to be functional, meaning the two can live in peace and harmony. You can get all of what you want, and she can get all of what she wants. Because a real relationship is two people being 100% of who they are. 50-50 is bullshit. You don't have to give up nothing. Oftentimes, the things that you have to give up are the things about you that are holding you back. Let's just tell the whole truth. We as people don't remove ourselves from our ego. We think we're our ego. And there are certain things that our ego wants to hold on to that's holding us back. And oftentimes when you get with someone who really has your back, someone who really loves you, the parts of you that they're asking you shed oftentimes are the parts that were holding you back when you were single. See, when you expect nothing but the bad from the opposite sex, when you get to these points, you can think they trying to change me. They don't like me for who I am. They think I should be this when I should really be that. Now, I'm not saying everything they tell you is going to be right. A lot of it ain't going to be right. But whatever it is, you have to take the time to sit back and analyze the substance of what the person you're with is requiring of you or wants from you. Because if you know how to choose correctly and you're choosing someone that you trust, this goes into the second part I want to talk about before I open up the phone lines. What to choose, how to choose. Choose based on the substance of life. Because if you're looking for a woman just on her age and her looks, well, what about her intelligence? Intelligence matters in the person you're with. You want someone who can help you be the best person you can be. Because as a man, as a woman, whatever you are, you do not have it all. No one does. But with the right person, you can get someone that fills in your holes and vice versa. You can get someone that sees holes in your game and put you up on game to help you fill those holes. But that only happens when you know how to find someone of substance. If you're only looking at how much they weigh, how tall they are, what kind of car they drive, how do they dress, you're going to miss the functional piece of a relationship. And that is living with someone. Because I'm going to tell you something my dad taught me. My dad told me, man, you better not ever make a relationship only about looks. Now, again, I ain't saying get with no booger wolf now. You better get with somebody you attracted to. I'm not saying be no Mother Teresa ass nigga and go ahead and get any old chick that you don't really fuck with like that. You don't want that. You do want to make sure you're able to look at that motherfucker every day you wake up. You want to make sure you see something that's attractive to you when you wake up. But again, going back to how I started this, you got to start with, what do you really like? What you really like cannot be based on what other people say is right. You cannot base what you like on what other people may or may not approve of. What you like has to be based on what you like. And one thing I found in my years and years and years of counseling, what people like is 7 billion people on earth, and I've only talked to a few hundred, but all of those few hundred like something a little bit different than the next person. I ain't never had 10. You cannot get 5 men in the room and all 5 men agree on what's a 10 or what's a 5. You're going to have what's a 5 to one nigga is a 7 to a different one, is a 3 to a different one. What's a 9 to one is a 6 to some. So going back to how I started, you have to get into contact and know what you like for yourself, not for what some other nigga think. Let me start off by saying, if you too worried about what another nigga think about your woman, you got to ask yourself one question, nigga. Is you part-time gay? I'm serious. And if you are, be okay with that. Let the woman know, hey, I'm with you because that man over there whose dick I want to suck, he's going to be jealous of me because I'm with you. Be okay with that, nigga. Don't come around here acting like you straight with the full-time straight niggas. Tired of you motherfucking halfway dick digglers trying to blend in with us all the time straight niggas. Identify yourself. There's women out there who like that shit. What's that one chick that plays Shireen at House Party? She just said that she got a train run on her for her 50th birthday. There's women out there who like that. That's real talk, industry lessons. That's real talk. If you a Hershey Highway hustler then ride your Hershey highway, homie. But be honest about it. Who you attracted to matters to you and you alone. Stop worrying about what some other nigga think. Fuck that nigga. And I don't mean literally. Well, if that's your thing, then okay. But let me get back before I get off in trouble with this. How the LGBTQ community coming after me. Again, I'm giving relationship advice. And this is my point of view comes from the straight, heterosexual, full-time, male point of view. That's my perspective. If you want a woman's point of view, go find a woman to drop this game. I try not to speak for women because I'm not a woman. I'm a full-time man. If it's the LGBTQ community, take what I say and synthesize it into what y'all do. I can't speak specifically to you because I don't know. But if you're intelligent enough, you can take my straight advice and synthesize it into whatever you like on your side of the football field. Okay? Okay. So that's it. So when it comes down to what the person you're with, you've done what it took. You found a woman. You're attracted to her. You've asked a few critical questions. You're good with her level of intelligence. Okay, check. You feel that she has your best interest at heart. Check. You feel that she wants the relationship to be the best that relationship can be. Check. You feel as a woman, she's striving to be the best person she can be. Check. Now, what do you do with it? You listen to it. Let me tell you something about being king. Back in the days of a true monarchy and a true rulership, whether you're talking about kings or pharaohs, the pharaoh always had the priest that they went to get the advice from. The old sculptures of the pharaohs back in the day, you saw the men and the women standing side by side, not one in front of the other. The reason why the pharaohs found queens from other kingdoms of substance, because he needed someone that he knew was raised in that environment of a kingdom, who understood what it takes to run a kingdom, and who can be there and be of substance as he rules the kingdom. And if, unfortunately, he passes away before she does, she can rule the kingdom. That's what a king does, fellas. A kingdom is about the greater good of the kingdom, not yourself. So you got to find someone with that type of mindset. But you can only find that if you a true king. You got a lot of niggas as boys walking around talking about they millionaires driving Lamborghinis, saying that they're kings. Are you? Or are you a jester masquerading as the king? Because a king puts the kingdom first. The kingdom is the house, the family, the unit. Being king is a position of sacrifice. Doing what it takes for the greater good of the kingdom, even if that means sometimes at your expense. You ready for that? Well, if you're not, don't expect the same in return. You dig? A king that's out for himself can expect a citizenry and a kingdom of people out for themselves. And when everyone is out for themselves, that's when kingdoms dissolved. Oh, you ain't heard this from your relationship experts. They tell you it's about what kind of person you qualify for. Think about that. You got grown ass men out here giving relationship advice, telling women what kind of purse she qualifies for. Are you fucking serious? Let me tell you something, ladies. I don't know what kind of purse you qualify for. Because I don't know a shit about purses. I don't know the difference between London Fog. Do London Fog even make purses? I know they make suitcases and luggage and jackets. Between a Guess purse and a Gucci purse. And where the fuck names are out there? I don't know none of this shit. I'm a grown-ass man doing grown-ass man shit. My only job is to make sure I provide an environment for her to be able to get what the fuck she want. It ain't my goddamn concern what the name of it is. That's just weird to me. Dominic Griffin, good point. People ain't trying to sacrifice themselves these days. That's true. And that's the thing. If you're not willing to be the sacrifice, how can you expect that in return? That's a real question. Hey, give me 30 seconds. I'm going to be right back. That's what was I talking about in the chat room? Oh yeah, I was talking about, you know, what you get, what you put out there. You attract what you are. So if you're not, as a man, willing to do these things and make these sacrifices for the kingdom, guess what? Women have senses. One thing about women, they don't say everything, but they feel everything. Whatever you think, fellas, whatever you think, listen to this game right here, or stay single your whole life. Whatever you think a woman doesn't know, I promise you she feels. Let me say that one more time. Whatever it is you think you're getting away with, whatever it is you think your woman don't know about what's going on in your mind, she feels it. I know a lot of your relationship gurus got you thinking that a woman is just a frame to hang a dress on and sit around next to you and say, okay, Big Daddy. A lot of these niggas make you think that's what the only thing a woman's good for is a frame to lay a dress on, fuck, and be a cheerleader. Okay, yeah, she'll be that. Yeah, she'll play that role. She'll play that role. But whatever you think you're getting away with, I promise you she feels it. She may not even have the words to express what she feels, but she feels it and she knows it. So if she knows you ain't being 100 with it, fellas, guess what? whatever you're not willing to lead on, she's going to find that somewhere else. So if you're not willing to lay it on the line for the greater good of the kingdom, guess what she gonna do in response? All while having a smile on her face and fucking you every time you ask. She'll give you that. But I promise you, she got some other shit going on. I promise you that. So a lot of these single cats giving you advice on what a woman should be doing. I'm not saying it's all bad advice. It's a lot of it is good advice. It is. Yeah. But again, what am I talking about today? I'm talking about relationship advice from the perspective of a functional, constructive, and very fun relationship. Relationships can be all of those things: functional, constructive, and fun. I was with my sister and her husband yesterday. They going off to Chicago for the weekend. About to have a good time. They be having fun. My sister and her husband be having fun. My mom and my dad, just last week, I wanted to go see them a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't because they was at some casino having fun. All this shit's possible. That's right, Highway J. So we have to know these things are true, know that they're possible, and be ourselves to reach these levels. If your single people aren't giving you advice that you can use of substance that's going to be constructive within a relationship, what good are they listen to other than entertainment? I get it. Sometimes niggas just want to be entertained. That's fine. I'm never going to begrudge someone entertainment. Never that. I listen to a lot of these single dudes talk because the shit is very fun. It's funny as hell to listen to. You be sitting back thinking like, that nigga think that's gonna work. Me and my wife be sitting back listening to these relationship dudes like, does this nigga really think that's gonna work? Like, oh yeah, okay, it sounds good. Yeah, all right. And plus, like me, I remember how I was when I was single. I've only been in a couple relationships in my life. Like before my wife, I stayed single. Shit, I didn't really like getting in relationships. Being single was fun. And the best part about being single was fucking with chicks that was in relationships. Cause a nigga, why not? It's gonna ensure that she has somebody to go home to while I go off to the next one. That shit was fun in my 20s. My late teens. But I've always been a listener. Even if it don't sound like I'm listening. I listen to what a lot of these chicks say that's in a relationship dealing with me. If you come back to the same shit, motherfucker not paying attention to her. That nigga got on some superficial shit. She found somebody with more superficial shit. He thinks that he's just gonna be running his mouth and I'm just gonna follow along. And as a man, you fellas, you single niggas out there, y'all know. She be talking to you like, he thinks that. And you be like, you don't even want to hear this shit. You really not trying to hear none of this shit, but you sitting through what you got to sit through to get that head later on that night. But you kind of hear the same goddamn thing get over and over and over again. And then you turn around and do the same thing to your woman thinking that she gonna be faithful to you. All right, nigga. Oh man, my condolences, Breeze Omega. You said your wife passed in December. My condolences to you, my brother. My condolences, like for real, from my heart. My condolences. Cartoon said, "That's you. You've been single for 5 years and love it." Yeah, being single ain't bad. Like I'm not here to shit on single people. Though. Shit, single was fun. I married the person that was right for me. If it weren't for her coming across my life, nigga, I'd probably still be single. Shit, let's tell the truth, nigga. If I didn't get the one, nigga, I'd still be single. Man, I know a few people whose wife recently passed. My man, Normal in the chat room, my man David Banner, who's normally in the chat room. Not the rapper David Banner, but he's usually in the chat room over on Facebook. His wife passed away a couple months ago. My condolences go out to anyone who's gone through that. Now, I couldn't imagine losing my wife. That fucked me up, for real, for real. But it's a beautiful thing to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. But so all you gotta do is look and pay attention and be what you want in a relationship. You want that substance, be that substance. You want someone to be your all in all, be their all in all. And as a man, it's our job. That's part of being the leader. Being the leader means being the one that pays that role. See, a lot of fellas want to be the leader when it comes to making financial decisions, as you should. A lot of fellas want to be the leader when it comes to all of these things that look good on paper. But when it comes to the matters of the heart, they want the woman to now lead. Let me say that one more time. Let me say that one more time. As a man, you can't run around puffing your chest out saying leader this, leader that. I'm going to control this. You're going to go sit down in the corner somewhere. That's fine. But if you don't want her heart, if you don't want her all in all, then that's fine. But if you do want her heart, if you do want her all in all, you also got to be the leader at giving that to her first. Let me play the music real quick. Did I hit too hard? Did I hit too hard? You want her heart? You want her to be your all in all? Then you have to lead and give it to her. Are you putting yourself out there for heartbreak? Yes. Is there a chance you're putting yourself out there for her to then knock it down and step all over? Yes. Is it possible she'll take your lead and laugh at you and just kind of be like, nah, I don't want it? Yes. All those things are possible. Is it possible that she takes what you have and then she gives it back to you on a level that you cannot conceive? Yes. Is it possible she takes that lead and she opens up like a flower and provides for you on levels that you don't even have a conception that exists? Yes. See, fellas, women got levels that we're not even aware of when it comes to these matters of the heart. Women got levels that we have no clue exist. But the key to unlocking those levels is your leadership in paving the road for that to happen. Before they build a city, before you build a high-rising tower, you gotta first dig deep in the ground. When they build those in the downtown or wherever you live, wherever city you live in, downtown, the reason why downtown is where it is, where they have those tall, high constructed buildings, is because under that ground, there's solid foundation. There's bedrock. Let me give an example for the city of LA. The city of LA, built over on Bunker Hill, downtown LA, built over on Bunker Hill. Under Bunker Hill is bedrock. Under that hill is bedrock. And that bedrock is the foundation all of those high-rising towers are built on. And before they build a tower that goes sky high in the sky, they build down. You go down, you dig down. You build caissons that connect to the bedrock under the surface of the ground. LA couldn't have built downtown in Manhattan Beach. Downtown could not have been built west of La Cienega in the marina and such. Foundation's not deep enough. You got to find your foundation and dig down. And that substance that you dig down in is the substance, is the function of a relationship. The only way a building can go high is if its relationship with the ground under it is stable and solid. That's what you have to do within yourself. And when you do that, fellas, and you get with a woman who is also as serious about connecting to herself, notice no time in here did I say you had to have it all together. Notice that, and that's for a reason. I never said you have to have it all together. You have to have a desire to and be on that path of having it all together, and you'll attract that. And when you both have that, that woman can take you higher than a level than you can conceive for yourself. She has levels as a man that we're unaware of emotionally, and when it comes to having our back. Just like as a man, you have levels that you can take her that she can't conceive for herself. This ain't one-sided, ladies. A man that has his shit together, that's about substance, that's truly about building and growing his kingdom, he's going to open for you and unlock for you levels and dimensions within you that you did not know existed. But you got to be willing to lay it on the line. You got to be willing to put yourself out there. But I'm going to see what you guys think. I want to know how you see it. Am I huffing and puffing? Am I on some bullshit? Do you have something that you want to say and add that I'm missing? Call in 323-744-7425. 323-744-7425. Can single people give quality relationship advice? And when I mean quality, I mean advice of substance. What have you learned from your single relationship experts that's helped you functionally in your relationships? Have you learned anything? From single people that's functional in relationships? Let me know. Yeah, that's a good point. You think when you don't respect your wife, it's equivalent to being an ant colony without a queen ant. Yeah, no function, no goal. That's the thing. A lot of these cats don't respect their woman. Can we talk about that? A lot of these dudes don't respect women. And when you don't respect a woman, you're not going to be really that serious about opening up to her. And if you're not really serious about opening up to her, you'll never get all of her. And if you want all of her, but you can't quite seem to ever be able to get all of her, that causes bitterness. That causes anger. That causes confusion. It's one of those things. And when you have the anger, when you have that confusion, then you get on YouTube and you started spouting your angry and confused gibberish. And then you start to mislead the people. They say you have 3 daughters that leveled you up? Damn, yeah, I bet you that will. What's up, Lee Everyday? What's up, Star? What's up, Quan? Sidewinder. Dominique, thank y'all for joining the chat room. What's up, Miss Porsche? Can single people give quality relationship advice? I guess nobody wants to call in today. Don't nobody call in within the next minute or so. I'm about to hang this damn phone line up. Because, like, we got to ask these questions because we see it a lot out there. We see a lot of people giving advice, and my concern is the level of advice that I see given out there is oftentimes extremely superficial. And my concern is, can that really work in the real world? What's up, Deep Impressions? What's up, caller? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on? It's Richie Rich out of Pasadena. What's the deal? DeJuan, keep doing your thing. Nothing but love.
And much love, brother Richie Rich from Pasadena.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Just to answer the question, though, single people can give solid relationship advice. It can be from an observatory stance. It could be from study. So they can have some sound points as far as just having structural concepts that can be applied to relationships. But ultimately, I think the best the best Teaching advice can come from a single person who has been married, who has been through a long-standing relationship where they've been living with their partner and putting things together. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. That's a good point of view. I'm with you on that. All right, man. Thank you for calling.
All right, peace.
You can. Single people can give good relationship advice from that point of view, from where they went wrong. Yeah, that's how I started the show. People can give advice if they're giving it the advice from the point of view of where they went wrong and how they could have fixed it and made it better. That's most definitely true. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, what's good? 3J from VA.
3J from VA. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I was speaking to the single. Can single people give relationship advice? I think they can. I just think it's a different perspective. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think like it's cats who can't play ball but can coach.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes a person may not necessarily have the patience or be virtuous enough to do right in a relationship for themselves, but they got the perspective to lend knowledge to another person. You know what I mean?
Okay. I hear what you're saying. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just want to put that on, and I appreciate what y'all do and everything. I'm gonna keep on watching. Y'all do your thing.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right.
See, that's why I opened up the phone line. I want to know what y'all think. I don't have all the answers. We've had 2 really good answers so far on single people giving quality relationship advice. Again, like I always say, it depends on the point of view that they're coming from. They come from that point of view of they see what the problem is, and they're willing to express how they can fix it within themselves and give that game to you. Good advice. But if they making the advice all about the other person, what's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, DeJuan, what's up, man? It's Aaron.
What's up, Aaron?
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say that single people can give good advice. I think they rarely do. Because people tend to make things anecdotal or about them and do it from their perspective instead of a wider perspective or a perspective that doesn't include their personal opinions.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
I see what you mean, yeah.
So I think they can, if they have the right mindset to take themselves and their feelings out of the equation. I just think that most single people don't because of that.
Got you. Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. They don't know how to remove themselves. And that's the issue that I find in a lot of single people giving relationship advice. They're speaking from their own heartbreak, not from a point of view of just observing what's going on. They still hurt at something that happened. You can tell by the way they talk. And they're giving out advice based on their own pain and trauma. And that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, and everybody knows something that someone else doesn't know. And yeah, please share that. But like if you're still hurting from, your baby daddy leaving you or whatever, or your baby mama cheating on you, or whatever bad relationship experience you had, if you're still hurting from that, it's going to taint your advice.
Good point of view, brother, man. Thanks for giving us a call.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah, somebody in the chat room made a good point also about parenting. Yeah, parenting advice. Those of you who listen regularly, y'all know me. I've been working with kids since I was 14, since 1995. I've been working with families and kids forever, which is the main reason why I ain't got no goddamn kids. And the fact that I don't have kids is the reason why I do not ever coin myself an expert in parenting. Y'all can go on my, those of you been here, y'all know y'all can go on y'all can go on my Breakthrough Advocacy website. Y'all can go on my Yelp, my Google reviews. I have a lot of good reviews from parents talking about how much I help them in their relationship with their children. Talking about how much my advice, I got kids that I've worked with over the years that look at me as a godfather. I have the literal stats to call myself an expert on parent-child relationships. But guess what? I ain't got no fucking kids, so I'm not gonna call myself that. Because I don't know what it's like to have to sacrifice between paying rent and buying football cleats. I don't know what it is to sacrifice between a wife that wants you to do certain things and a kid have a disagreement with a wife or a husband or a parent or another parent over an issue surrounding a child. I've dealt with those things in counseling. I've given out some dope advice in counseling, but I've never lived it. So my integrity will not allow me to coin myself as the guru of children. Because I have too much respect for everyone out there who's lived it. You guys who've lived it as parents have experienced me as someone who's only worked with parents and children, have never lived. So there are intricacies, there are nuances that I do not understand. Even though I got 28 years of being in the fire with families. Over half my life. I've lived over half my life either on working with kids on some level. It started out as a tutor. It went to mentoring. It went to being their basketball coach. It went to child and family behavior specialist. It went from that to getting my degree in communication studies to now helping families work out their communication differences. I've worked with family and children on so many different levels. But with that being said, I have the respect for parents who's had to be late to work because you were up at 3 a.m. with some crying toddler and still had to work a full 8-hour day next day and then get off work and pick up kids and do it all over again the next night. I ain't have to deal with it, and I ain't looking forward to it. You're right, but a lot of people, I've seen that. I've seen people who don't have half my experience working with children, and they'll try to tell parents how to be a parent. Fuck out my face with that. Yeah, parenting is way bigger than coaching. I got too much respect for parents who in the trenches every day. And me, cause when I'm done coaching, I get to go home and play video games, and I ain't gotta tutor no kid when I come home. I ain't gotta talk to no kid about a teacher being racist to him when I come home. I talk about that shit at work. Then when I come home, nigga, I'm off to doing what the fuck I do. You dig? It's about respect. So again, when it goes back to single people giving relationship advice, you gotta watch out. You gotta listen to the perspective. There is no single truth. There is, like in every show with you, there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect message is. So you can get the perfect message for anybody, from anyone. My only caution is watch and pay attention of where that advice is coming from. Is it coming from advice? Is the advice coming from a perception, from a point of view of substance? Is it coming from the point of view of fixing the greater good? Is it coming from the point of view of helping people go through not have to go through what I went through? Or is that point of view coming from bitterness? Is that point of view coming from anger? Is that point of view coming from daddy or mommy issues? Let your instincts decide. You got instincts, you know. You know. You have instincts. Instincts talk to you all the time. Do you listen? For further detail, I have my communication masterclass series coming on Patreon. Or you can get the series pay-per-view. You don't have to subscribe to the Patreon. You can do them one by one. Either way, I'm fine. But the first in the communication masterclass is going to be on listening and choosing the right ones. Listening to those you're with. How to listen and how to listen and apply that to the relationship. How to communicate your listening. Because oftentimes you're in a relationship, you're listening, but the other person's cues may not tell them you're listening. Or you think you're listening, but you can't seem to quite get and break down what other people are saying. We're going to break all that shit down in the masterclass series. If you're part of the Patreon, you'll be part of the exclusive Discord group when I get that up and running, to where we'll be able to ask each other these type questions. We'll be able to bounce things off of each other. And I'm building on this. We're going 360 on this. I'm going to be talking about relationships and communication from all different sorts of angles. Because our biggest issue that we have right now, I think, in our society is lack of communication. The men are on this side, the women are on that side. Both sides want the most from the other. They're just not quite sure how to give it. We're going to be getting into all that on the Patreon. And we also going to be taking y'all. I'm going to let a lot of y'all decide what angles we're going to talk about, where it's coming from. I get a lot of people who hit me up in the comments after a video, and they say, dude, talk about this, talk about like that. Let me tell you something. If you're in Patreon, you're front of the line. If that's what you want to talk about. Because again, I have almost 30 years of notes on this shit, dealing with relationships. Whether it be parent-child, mother-daughter, husband-wife, you and your work relationships, cousins, friends, family, professional. I got about 30 years of notes on these topics. So it's going to basically be like, nigga, you got something on your mind. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. And that's all going to be part of the Patreon. But thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for being here. It's not going to be any incense and ashtrays this Friday because I'll be out. Well, I'll be out in Seattle getting ready for our show in Seattle, Craig Facts Live in Seattle, February 26th. Go to thecraigsmith.com for details if you're in the Seattle area. I may do an incense and ashtrays from Seattle because I will have my laptop with me. I may do one. I'll see. It depends because it's going to be cold as fuck out there. I saw the weather report says it's going to be 27 degrees at night. So I don't plan on going nowhere while I'm out there. I plan on being in my goddamn hotel room. So I may do one. I'll let you guys know. Download Incense and Ashtrays and Mixcloud. Get your t-shirts. My Mothers of the Movement t-shirt. This is my favorite t-shirt so far. So dope. Got the color on it. Feels good. Got it in t-shirt and in hoodie format. And through the end of this week, we have our Black American Heritage flags. They will be coming off of the website at the end of the month. Only for Black History Month, our Black Heritage t-shirts, hoodies, and flags. Get yours now at hotepish.com/shop. Thank y'all for joining. And remember this, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. My name is Dewan. We out.